Welcome to the Lasting Love Podcast, where wedding professionals come together to share their expert insights and real-world experiences. Whether you're a wedding professional or a newly engaged couple looking to plan your perfect day, this is the go-to destination for all things weddings. Tune in as we explore the latest trends, share the industry secrets, and discuss the challenges of running a successful wedding business. Join me, luxury wedding photographer Josh Russell, as I show you the ins and outs of our industry. And together, we'll make sure every event is a picture-perfect success. Let's get started. We're getting into the full swing of things. First interview, of course, I had to bring one of my best friends in the entire whole world, Mr. Corey Young from Yo DJ Entertainment, in to do this podcast with me. I felt like there was nobody else that could bring the energy, as he's just kind of hanging out right now, we could bring the energy of this podcast to life. Corey is one of the most energetic DJs I've seen. His setup, his equipment is far and above everybody's, both in this area and all around. I've been to weddings everywhere. He knows what he's doing. And more importantly, Corey knows a ton about the business side of things over the years. So, Corey, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Just amped up, man. Ready to kind of help out some people and kind of give some insight on whatever we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, like I was saying prior to us starting, for the most part, I want this podcast to be aimed towards wedding professionals, but I want the average, everyday engaged couple or somebody who's thinking about being engaged to be able to pick up some knowledge about this too. So what we want to talk about today, we're going to talk about how it is better to be cohesive as a unit on wedding days. So what I mean by that is DJs work with photographers talk to the planners, the florists. Everybody's on the same page, and it definitely does make a wedding go smoother, it goes better. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about Yo DJ.
I am team leader and owner of Yo DJ Entertainment. We are a team of just premium DJs in the area. We really pride ourselves on providing a fun and stress-free entertainment for our clients, but also really personalizing our events and making it memorable. We really want people to kind of talk about the wedding far after their wedding. We want our clients to get, messages after their wedding, basically just reiterating how great their wedding was and how it wasn't just vanilla. So we really want to kind of go above and beyond and really incorporate some unique ideas into weddings.
Yeah, that's something that I've seen over the years. I mean, a little bit of tidbit of knowledge. When you first started Yo DJ, I was there with you, kind of helped you. When you needed a second DJ, when it was just you, I did some second DJing for you. When you started your photo booth, I was around, and then my trip around the wedding industry went more towards photography. You stayed, and now you're just crushing it. How many DJs do you have on the team?
We have, I believe, 5 other primary DJs, and then we have a handful of seconds too that help us out at every event.
Right, and then you have, even sometimes you have like a third person just for, you'll have your mirror booth out there, so you also own Wisconsin Mirror Booth. So you'll have the mirror booth attendant, you'll have somebody sometimes manning like the DJ area, as well as you emceeing it, hosting the event. That's something about Yo DJ Entertainment that I noticed is different than a lot of others, is a lot of DJs are just DJs. Where Yo DJ Entertainment, they focus more on the entire reception as far as hosting during speeches. You're on the mic, your other DJs, they're on the mics, making sure that everything goes smoothly. And I think that's one thing that, coming from that DJ world, I have a little bit different perspective when it comes to DJs and stuff because I did that. But there's a lot more to a reception as a DJ than just playing music. And I think that it's super important for people to know that.
Yeah, when it comes to... Oh, sorry, but...
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Music is just a small portion of a wedding reception. If you think about it, technically, the majority of clients focus on the 8 to midnight as far as the dance portion. But music ultimately starts, honestly, for me, before the event. Like, I love to get to events before game time, before guest arrival, and start playing music for the staff when they're setting up the room, just so everyone jams out. And some of the venues, the wedding parties, getting ready while we're setting up. So we play music just to kind of get them, in a good mood before the ceremony, kind of relax them a little bit. But ultimately, it's just keeping that energy level up. So music, it's very important, but it starts way before the official dance starts.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I've seen you at weddings at, the weddings at, let's say 1 o'clock ceremony, you're playing ceremony music. You're usually there by like 10 or 11 in the morning, just starting to set up. And I mean, and not just you in general, but like your entire team, they're always there. They're always willing to help out, doing whatever they need to make sure that everybody runs smoothly. And that's, we're circling back to it. We'll still get to it. But it's one of those things where everything works smoother. But as far as Yo DJ, I know you said in the area, so give them a little bit more about where your main market is. How far will you guys travel? Like what.
Sure. We're based in the greater Fox Valley area. The majority of our referral base is located around, say, Green Bay to Fond du Lac, out to Stevens Point. But we do travel throughout the state. I travel throughout the surrounding states also for events. Honestly, closer to home, it's kind of nice, but at the same time, we're not afraid to travel because when people, I won't say request my personal services, I want them in the best hands possible. So I really try to make it work regardless of where their wedding's located.
And that's something you guys do also, like when they book Yo DJ, they work with that certain DJ through the entire system. It's not like they work with you through all the booking and the consults and all that, and then they don't know their DJ until the day of.
Yeah, when people do inquire about our services, we pair them with the DJ right off the bat, and that DJ handles them from start to finish. So there's no lapse of communication, nothing's lost in translation. But also some feedback I get from venues is they love to see the actual DJ who's going to be performing at their wedding rather than just the business name, because a lot of venues are familiar with us personally. So when they see usually our name and our DJ on their docket, that is kind of a sigh of relief for them because they know exactly who's going to be showing up.
Right. And you guys don't have any, clearly you don't have any bad DJs, but it is refreshing when I see, as a photographer, that question is on my questionnaire too, is, who's your cake, who makes your cake, who's your florist, who's your DJ. And when I see Yo DJ Zarin or Yo DJ Cody or one of these, it is a sigh of relief knowing who I'm going to be working with, because yes, you guys are all one unit, but each one of you has a little bit different of a style. And that's what I like about you. You all have that, I guess you would call your standard operating procedure as far as a DJ, but you each give it your own flair. And with working with you guys before, it kind of allows me to know, me as a photographer, be prepared to shoot a wedding with you, whether it be video. Okay, I need to bring this type of cord with me so I can hook into Z's setup, or I need to make sure that I am at this point at a certain time because I know Corey's going to be giving us the speeches, the introduction, so I need to be over here. So knowing that, and whether if I was to go into a wedding and just know it was Yo DJ and not know who, it could kind of throw me off a little bit as well. So that definitely does help when that's on there. So I appreciate it from a photographer standpoint.
Thanks.
But yeah, let's kind of get into that a little bit. I want to kind of talk about, in general, working as a unit. And over the years, I mean, we've done weddings, hundreds of weddings. And I can think back at the weddings and know the ones that you were butting heads with somebody. And as weird as it sounds, and I don't know why, but it always seems like it's the DJ and the photographer that are the most butting heads. I don't know if it's and also the photographer and the videographer. Those we can get in each other's way if we don't know how we work. But it always just seems like it comes back to the photographer and the DJ. I don't know if it's both of us having a somewhat cocky attitude or I don't know if it's cocky is the right word, but we both have that attitude. We got this swag about us, and you do butt heads with a DJ every now and then. It's happened to me. I know that without even asking, that you've butted heads with photographers. So what's your kind of take on that whole situation? I mean, are there any without naming names, any horror stories you can think of, or any situations where you feel that needs to be known?
I think it comes down to different outlooks and our jobs and responsibilities at a wedding. This is a topic that is currently ongoing right now within our team. We are working on trying to find a solution for this, for not so much butting heads, but just that friction, and it's never anything kind of, I don't say visual that people notice, but between vendors, it's kind of like you kind of walk away from the event being like, just ugh, like it could have been better, or, like how can we fix this? And that's how I look at a lot of things. But when it comes to photographers, when we butt heads personally, and this is just my personal experience, I find that a lot of some photographers are more concerned with getting their job done within a certain amount of time, say, because they're typically contracted from, say, noon to 8, right after first dances, and they're ducking. While DJs, we're more concerned with the flow of the event. So if dinner's running behind and dances are running behind, we feel pressure from the photographer. There's been times when the photographer's like, didn't even get dessert yet, and they come up to me and say, we need to do dances right now because I'm done at 8 p.m. And my mind is, I don't care. And that's where we butt heads. It's, are you going to screw up the entire flow of this event, make it feel very forced, rather than have some flex time in there? And that's the majority of the difference, is just the flow of the event versus kind of the photographer's timeline too, where they're more concerned with getting certain pictures done, delegated at a certain time.
See, I think that's kind of where my past history with DJing kind of is good, because when I book my weddings, I tell them that it's up to 6 hours or up to 10 hours or something like that. But in parentheses, and in my meetings and in my contracts, it's more of a set schedule. So it's getting ready through the first dances, or it's ceremony through the first dances, or it's just family photos. So yes, it's up to that, but also I always let every couple know, I'm not watching my clock. I'm not looking at my watch nonstop. I'm there through getting ready through the first dances. Sometimes I've been at weddings for 12 hours just because I'm waiting, and it's not something that I'm not saying that I'm waiting like in a negative aspect. I'm waiting like, okay, things are still going on. Stuff's still happening. Speeches, you run into these, some father of bride that gives like a 26-minute speech. So, and I've had it happen on multiple occasions.
Great.
So that's something that you just kind of work with, and it's not, I don't feel like butting heads with the DJ about it is going to solve anything, because it's also somewhat out of their control. It's not like a DJ like yourself is just taking their time just because they want to take their time. It's not, I don't ever see a wedding as a time frame, if that makes sense. It's more about capturing what needs to be captured. And I even say that in my, in every meeting I have, especially video, is, I'm there through first dances, but I usually stick around a little longer because it helps tell the story more if I have some of that dancing. Now, the difference is, especially with Wisconsin weddings, is the beginning of the night and the end of the night is going to look the same, except more people are going to be drunk. So I don't stay the whole time, but I do capture some of that, and it's not a time frame thing. It's like, I want to make sure that I got what I need, especially if I'm putting albums together or making a video. So it's not the DJ's fault, but I do know where you're coming from, and I have seen that, like, where I've been doing just videography, and a photographer has come and been like, okay, I'm out of here at 8. We're still waiting around. And I had this situation with Z once, with Zarin, at a wedding with a photographer, and she was ready to go. I mean, it was time for her to go. However, when it was time to do first dances, she was outside having a cigarette, so we had to wait on her. So, like, it just, everything runs so much smoother if you can work together. The first thing that I do, I always go to every DJ, whether it's, usually if it's you, I'm coming to give you like a butt slap or something like that. But any DJ, I go up to them right away. I don't ask for anything. I don't bring any equipment with me, especially if it's video. I'm not going to walk up and be like, hey, I'm Josh, can I plug this in? First thing I do is I walk up and I'm like, hey, I'm the photographer. If you need anything from me, just let me know. I also, mention that I used to DJ weddings, so I understand the workflow. But then after that, then I may go back up 10 minutes later or so and be like, hey, do you mind if I plug this into one of your outs on your speaker or something like that? But it's never about business right away. And I feel like that's the difference between the wedding industry and the commercial photography industry, or just the commercial industry in general, is you have to remember that this is a special day. And if you can portray that in your business side of things, and yes, it is a business to us, but at the same time, is if you can remember that it's a personal day, things will go smoother. So being personal with the DJ, talking to the venue owner right away. From photography perspective, like Catholic weddings, I go up and I ask right away if there's anything I need to know or not know, or areas that I can or cannot be when I'm photographing. Just stuff that's not necessarily, hey, I'm the photographer and this is what I'm going to do, but more asking them what they need and then incorporating that into my style and how I'm going to shoot. Now, as a photographer who's been shooting for multiple years now, I feel like I can adapt to most situations, whether it be I get there and the place is just so dimly lit it's ridiculous, or a lot of Catholic ceremonies and a lot of religious ceremonies, they won't let you go more than like halfway up the aisle. So you have to adapt to that. I've had a couple in this area that you're not allowed to go more than halfway up the aisle during the ceremony. Some of them are more like just don't get anywhere near the altar, which makes sense. But this is stuff that I ask before, yet after I've already introduced myself. I don't want my first impression to be business right away. I want them to know that I'm willing to listen to what they want.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's kind of, and I know that you're a little different in both both personally and professionally. But I mean, at a wedding, you often, because you have a love for all things art anyway, you also kind of dabble in taking photography and taking some video clips as well. And I know that sometimes that can butt heads with mainly photographers, videographers, stuff like that. Where are you at as far as, I mean, how are you trying to overcome that? What is on your brain? How do you, at a wedding, if you see that you're clearly, making a photographer kind of upset, like, where's your perspective?
It's a lot in the beginning, because right now, a lot of photographers, videographers kind of know about me and what I do now. So it's not as a detailed conversation and what it used to be. But in the beginning, when I did meet photographers or videographers that I never worked with before, I'm almost business first. Here's your input, I got you. When it comes to recording audio, that's something I've heard through videographers in the past, that audio is so hard to capture compared to video. So I'm a backup type of guy. So if I had to, I invested in like a little Zoom Handy audio recorder that I use as a backup audio. And I always shared those audio files with videographers just as a backup. It's not to impede on what they did. It's based off the negative stories we've all heard in the past of, SD card getting corrupted or something happening where you wish you had a backup. So I'm just a fail-safe type of guy. I plan for the unexpected. So it's never to step on toes. It's what's mine is yours. Like, I have no problem sharing my audio files with you. And same thing with, like you said, taking pictures. That's something I see a lot of photographers and videographers typically leave shortly after the dance starts, right? Because as you mentioned, it's kind of a blur, right? Everything looks similar in your eyes.
Right.
From a DJ point of view, we're there for another typically 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. A lot happens in 3 to 4 hours when people are having fun. And my feeling is I want to capture those moments, right? No one's really officially capturing them. Yes, you can get people with their phones taking pictures, but I enjoy learning about photography from you. Once again, in case the photographer's memory card takes a crap, we at least have something as a backup. It's not to impede, it's to supplement. And
right.
When it comes to pictures and videos, I'm completely different. I don't like to do staged pictures like photographers do. Like, you guys are freaking next level when it comes to your vision, how you guys see stuff. And I'm just quantity. Let's put it that way. Like, I have no, like, just click, click, click. I have some idea what I'm doing thanks to you. But when it comes to, like, just getting a picture, I'm just all about capturing people in their weirdness and their quirkiness and just friends having fun. Because I can't tell you how many times your social media, right? You see, sometimes you can't take life for granted, right? So sometimes these weddings are the last memories with certain people. So those 3 to 4 hours of people having fun, I want to capture that, because there's so many times when my friends emotional. This is why I do this. But they post pictures of their dad that passed away, and they use my picture because the photographer didn't take those fun pictures. Like, yes, there's stage pictures, but sometimes they want them kind of in the moment, just embracing each other. So that's what I look for when I take pictures. And same thing with video too throughout the night. It's just the dance circle, people having fun. I don't do any heavy editing, nothing like that. It's just basically raw footage, just like, here you go. Like I said, I typically upload everything Google Drive, share it with the photographer. So if they want to use my raws, my video, full send. Like, we're both there for the client. And I think regarding photography and videographers, that's something that, like I said, I at the end of the day, we're there for the client, their best experience. So yes, I might be doing some of what they're contracted to, but it's kind of in supplement to rather than primary. That's how I look at it.
Right. And I have the perspective of it as, I don't ever find that you're in the way. And if you're in my way, then I'm probably not doing my job as good as it could be, because like you having a camera is no different than Aunt Sally having a camera. I got to move around her. Or, Uncle Bill that has a camera, or I've done weddings where people are literally holding the iPads up, So if you're in the back of my shot, then I'm probably doing something wrong. I should be more over where you are, or finding a different angle to make sure that you're not. And I'm basically like, when I shoot a wedding with you, I personally look at it as a second or a third photographer with me, because it's no different than when Casey's with me and she's opposite side of me. It's just you. You're just another person taking photos, and it's not your job to get out of my way, in my perspective. Now, some photographers may look different at it, and I completely agree with you. Like, yeah, overall, so my job. So when Casey shoots, she's candid. She shoots very similar to how you do at a reception. I shoot the artistic stuff. I shoot the post stuff and the stuff that's going to make the wedding albums and stuff like that. But we leave after first dances. So the artistic stuff leaves, as well as all those candid photos. So why can't you keep shooting? Why in my perspective, I encourage you to do it, because for that couple, that may mean more to them than any photo that we take. And I understand that. There's first dances. I would love to have more angles of first dances. I mean, we had a situation where a mother passed away, and we both did the wedding, and you captured some of the photos that my team wasn't able to. And those are the important photos to them. And I just feel like that if I were to come up to you and be like, you can't shoot photos because I'm the photographer here, I may miss something. I'm not arrogant enough to know that I miss photos. I mean, it happens, and you may not. You may catch something that I never do, and at the end of the day, the wedding couple is what matters, not my opinion, not your opinion, at that moment in time, I should say. That photo is what's important.
And to touch base about some of the feedback that I've gotten over the years about why I shouldn't, and I completely understand why photographers feel a certain way. Like, I'm really big on listening to each vendor and their preference, and not just what they say, but their body language. I just had a photographer that said it was okay for me to do that, but then she rolled her eyes, and I saw that. And so I treaded very lightly. But a big part of the feedback that I received is when the clients post pictures of their wedding on social media, say my pictures that are semi-professional, and they get mistaken for, say, the photographer's pictures that have a certain quality. So there's like, oh, those are the photographer's pictures? Those aren't that great. So I completely understand certain aspects of why photographers don't want me to do that. And being in background of pictures, I remember years ago, many, many moons when I started that, taking pictures. I was shooting a wedding with a very high-end photographer out at Romy's in Black Creek, and she showed me some of her pictures of my DJ assistant in the background of a lot of her pictures, and I took note. That was like, I'm very persistent now in making sure that I understand where all the angles are, so I'm not that guy in the background with a camera, or just in the shot, because I fully respect what photographers and videographers do, and I just have a lot of respect for what they do, and I can't say that enough.
And I just think, one, to touch on that, like them sharing your photos, do you watermark your photos that show that like the DJ took them and not the photographer? Maybe something that could be done to kind of perturb that situation. Is maybe, just put your logo on it, like Yo DJ Entertainment. Make sure that it's clear that it's the DJ. Also have the couples say, our DJ took these photos. That's just little things. But
go
ahead.
So when it comes to watermarking, I did that for kind of half a season, but that's not I don't say that's not my style. I don't like to self-promote that thing. Like, I don't want to be known as a photographer, so I don't want to watermark them. I did for a little bit, and I didn't like it because it's just, anyone who knows anything about our marketing and how we go to promote events, it's not about us. So I don't like putting our name on really anything. It's not that I'm embarrassed by it. It's just the night's not about us. It's about whatever, the client, and I feel we do such a great job that the client will refer us out. So that's kind of our main marketing strategy.
Right.
But then
it
regarding posting,
it could be more though, you just put essentially a watermark, but not like a watermark in the true sense that just says like photo courtesy of Yo DJ Entertainment or something like that. Like just something small in there that will differentiate the photos from you from the photographer.
Yes.
Also, I feel that from the photographer's standpoint, if they're worried about your work being confused with their work, maybe that's a topic that should come up on the wedding day. If like, let's say they know who you are, Corey, and they come in and they're like, okay, it's cool that you shoot, but can you not share any of those photos until they get ours back, or something like that? I mean, it's just there are ways to separate the two sets of photos without being a butthole about it. You know what I mean?
And I've actually had feedback from photographers, because typically I share my pictures with the clients a day or two after, because like I said, no heavy editing, nothing. And
right.
And I find a lot of some photographers, like that, because it creates that buffer where they have time to edit, because the client's not going to be, waiting X amount of weeks or months for their pictures back. They actually have something to share that's semi-good. So that's some of the other feedback that I have received.
And that's another reason, me personally, I started doing the same day edits, is because I wanted to make sure that they had something. So I go home and I upload those the night of. Unless I'm like in Milwaukee and I'm driving home, then I do it the next morning. But they always have the photos within like 24 to 48 hours. Most of the time, I'm sending them a link before the ceremonies or the reception's even over, because it's usually close. I get home, I've already edited them that day. Another reason I do it is I like to boost my ego a little bit when I hear people saying like, that's amazing that you got it done that quick. But another thing is kind of that race to the finish that you kind of talked about. Like, I want my photos to be seen before yours, and it's not a competition to me. It's just, I want them to have their professional photos back, at least, 25, 30 of them, whatever it may be, before anybody else gets them photos. I want them to be able to even share at least one professional photo before their cousin puts a Facebook photo up, or their grandma posts a really bad potato phone photo. I want to make sure that they can at least post something that says, hey, we're married, and they don't have to rely on somebody else. And it's not saying that you're doing a bad job doing what you do, or the relatives posting are doing something wrong. I just want them to make sure, I want to beat them to the finish. And it's me, not anybody else.
Well, it's that excitement that you're creating though too. Like they're on cloud nine from having their wedding, and then they see these pictures. Like I've been to weddings where you do the same day edits, and it's just like, holy, like you have a crowd of people around your freaking TV, just like these pictures are freaking, like, how did you do this? And it's next level for a lot of the clients. And I see that they absolutely adore that. And it's like I said, you're dangling the carrot for the work that you're going to be sending them down the road. So it's
Exactly.
I really enjoy seeing the client's reaction to what you do.
Well, thank you. Do you see any type of I mean, we're just talking about photos and DJs or videos and DJs right away. Do you see this like confrontation stuff, like not working together with any other wedding professionals in the area? I mean, or not just in the area, but at weddings. Do you know anything? Like, I mean, like I said, it just keeps coming back to that. But like, I mean, I've had like flower people like butt heads with me, florist butt heads with me and stuff like that. But yeah.
No, I constantly hear the DJs versus photographers, and a lot of it's because other DJs hear and see what we do, right? So, and it's not that we're first to the finish line, or we're first to do this, that, the other, but they understand what we do, and they try to do it themselves. And now they're starting off where we started off, and they have to learn all these issues that have came up in the past. So it would be nice to educate DJs. So when photographers take some time and are honest with the DJs as far as, listen, if you do take pictures, here are some requirements. Like when photographers say that to me, I fully respect what they do. If they don't want me to take pictures, fine with me. I'm not going to get butthurt over it. Like, I completely understand. But when they leave, it's once again, not another conversation. Is that okay after you leave if I take pictures? But very rarely do they say no after that. But while they're there, I give them their space if that's what they request.
I think it boils down to the fact that DJs and the photographers are like the only ones you really hear that have a problem or issues, is because when you look at all the wedding professionals that let's take one wedding and let's say, okay, there's a tux company, there's flowers, there's cake, there's food, there's a venue, there's DJs, there's photographers. Those two are kind of the superstars of the wedding. Those are the people that are creating the most buzz from the wedding. Yes, the venue is beautiful. Yes, the flowers are important. The food is important. But when it comes down to it, we've talked about this, on a friend level for a long time. But the most important thing is your DJ and your photographer. Those are going to make and break your wedding. DJ is going to make and break your wedding the day of. Your photos are going to make and break the rest of your life. I mean, it is very important. So I feel like it's almost like when it comes down to the argument side of it, it's like, who's the bigger superstar at the wedding? Now, I have a different perspective. A lot of people do. A lot of DJs have a different perspective. We don't see it like that, but that's when those confrontations happen. I feel like that's what it is. It's like, who's the bigger star? Who's the headliner? And I feel like that's where it's at.
And for me, it comes up the client. I mean, hands down. I mean, when it comes to working with photographers and videographers, I'm all about how can I make your job easier? How can I not impede on your work? How can I help create that wall hanger that you're going to send up, that canvas? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to add more work to you behind the scenes with Photoshop because of DJ lighting. Like, if you want to have me change my DJ color, my lights with my DJ lights, tell me. Like, that's something that I'm pretty persistent on before we even do the first dances is what color do you want my lights? Where do you want them? Because I can move all my DJ lights around. They're all mobile. And we did some awesome stuff at the wedding last Saturday where we put my lights on the corners of the dance floor, and the photographer or the videographer was just shocked. And I was watching his footage and his little screen, and God, it looked amazing. And I'm just like, I helped do that. Right. And yeah, I helped do that. And it's just like, I don't want any credit for it. I want the client to be happy. So it's,
right.
Yeah, I'm all willing to help.
I mean, and that's, I just feel like that's what it boils down to, is we need to realize that at the end of the day, it's all about the wedding. We're not in this industry. We didn't get into this industry to butt heads with anybody. We got in it to make sure wedding couples got what they wanted. And we do this. And I hope that every photographer, most DJs do this because of the same reason. And that is because they just love weddings. They love knowing that they're creating a romantic experience, and it's an art form, and it really is. And at the end of the day, it boils down to, we just need to all work together to make sure that the wedding couple has the perfect time. And I know that sounds super cliche, but we want to make sure that they have memories forever. So Corey, I want to thank you. I appreciate you coming in here and doing this interview, especially kind of last minute. Why don't you tell everybody that's listening where they can find out information about Yo DJ? I know you don't want to market yourself and sell yourself, but give them some socials, give them some websites, let them know how to contact you, because you are, once again, and this is not just from a friend perspective, but you're the pinnacle of DJs in this area, and I appreciate everything you do.
There you go. I try hard. I really strive, to make our weddings different and make them stand out. You can find us, just type in Yo DJ on the Google. Hopefully we're in the top 5, but it's better. I do absolutely no SEO. But yeah, just YoDJENT.com. Facebook, same thing. Yo DJ Entertainment. That's about it. We don't really do a lot of other social media platforms. I don't personally. Some other DJs post on the Snapchat and whatnot, but Instagram maybe.
You're not TikToking? I think I've seen you TikToking.
We don't need
some inflatables in this world. That's a story for a whole nother time. All right, well, I'm gonna sign this off. So Corey, stick around. We'll talk after I hit the end of the recording. But thank you for coming around, doing this interview. Everybody listening, thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out Yo DJ Entertainment. Check out all their DJs. I mean, every one of them. I know I mentioned a couple by name, but seriously, they are all incredible to work with. I've never had any sort of even close to a bad experience working with any of them. So wedding couples, engaged couples, if you're looking for a DJ, check them out. I highly suggest them. They're one of the only few that I refer in this area. I even try to get Corey to go to like Florida weddings and stuff with me too, if I ever make it happen. But yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the follow on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, and we will talk to you in the next podcast. Thanks a lot.